Welcome to this channel. This channel is for education and culture based on historical and scientific evidence. So in the previous YouTube, I share how the Wing Chun 1850 counter or fighting the taller or shorter opponent. And after that, YouTube shared many of our martial art friends and Wing Chun friends asking me, can I share how is 1850s Wing Chun with the uniqueness of sticking body short strike beat the opponent? So today I'd like to share with you what it is never present in the world on how is the strategy and how is the basic mechanics of a Wing Chun short strike. Now, before that, I want to say a thing, and that's it. In past 2 days, there are people who leave really insulting comment on my YouTube, such as saying that Wing Chun can kill a fly. Go prove it in UFC. And there are somebody who is from Wing Chun, who practice Wing Chun, today's Wing Chun, comment on saying, stop uh, reading the ancient scripture. Why don't you show real life demonstrations and stop critic on Wing Chun? Well, I like to make an address here. My channel is for education and culture based on historical and scientific evidence. These two type of people must not watch my video. Okay? That's how it is. Because in here we want to talk, we want to present the reality on what is the reality of Chinese Kung Fu. The reason why I am presenting Qi Ji Guang, keeping Qi Ji Guang, Qi Ji Guang, Qi Ji Guang, face it, for past 500 years, Qi Ji Guang is the real grandmaster in Chinese Kung Fu. And this is not your sports or fighting sparring. This is for war. Okay? And Qi Ji Guang's effectiveness in the war is 5% loss. Meaning, if he is going to fight a 2,000 enemy, he wipe out 2,000 enemy, he will lose about 100 of his army. 5%. That is what Qi Ji Guang is. And in Qi Ji Guang army, there is no superhero like in a movie. There is no super Taoist. Everybody have the military type of educations. There is no such thing as the greatest warrior. You read in history, it never happened. He can wipe the enemy clean. And there is no such thing as he is the king of this or king of that kung fu. And sorry, this is not your tournament. Okay? Now, in Qi Ji Guang's history, there is no such thing as who is the best fighter. It is a history record that Qi Ji Guang take down his enemy's best warrior. by what we know today named as the Peking duck array. He have an array of 4 people. He track one, he take it out. Okay? So don't dream in this nonsense warrior dream. There's no such thing in the real life. Sure, you can go into the ring and then you can have all the protections and athletes and all those things and medical and everything. Well, that is very different than in real life where, sure, you're a good warrior. People send his people, like Chi Chi Guang send his array in, and you're out in seconds. So this is the real life. That's why I present it. I keeping saying Chi Chi Guang is because, hey, you want martial art? You want the fighting art? Stop all those legend and alibi and all those kind of things. That is the bottom line. So we know what is the reality. We know the science of it. We know the truth of it. And so we stop go into those violence or make believe I want to be the king of kung fu, those kind of stuff. The Chinese, the real one, is not up to that. Even Qi Ji Guang's friend, Yi Dayu, went up to Shaolin Temple. He wiped clean the Shaolin Temple best fighter. He never said a thing. He only said, oh yeah, I want your monk come with me to train in military. He never boasts like, oh, I'm the best fighter, I'm the hero. And also, one thing I want to share with everybody. As soon as you step in the martial arts, they always have a price to pay. Even like today's sport person, athletes, see if they have to pay the price. Disregard of what you train, Kyokushin, BJJ, Kung Fu or whatever, Thai boxing or Western boxing, you see people have to pay the price. Okay? So that's why I want to share this education and this culture and this science for everybody so we know what is going on. So let's get into short strike. Previously, I said that the Wing Chun 1850, it is a sticking body short strike, meaning you fight at this close. Your leg attack him, your body attack him, your hand, 2 hands attack him. So you have 4 arms there. Now today we get deeper. First, one is not going to parry on the wrist area or block the wrist area. Also, one is not going to parry the elbow area or block the elbow area in the short strike. One need to get right away into the shoulder area. Meaning, if the opponent is blocking or grabbing my wrist area, those things still can strike him. If the opponent doing his block or whatever in this area, or fudging or whatever in this area, this punch is going to go, this strike is going to go to him. Only if one get into his shoulder area, then one thing is one actually limited this hand. Okay, so I walk in, as soon as in this area, I limited this hand, limit his hand. He strike me, I go in, I limited his hand as soon as I'm here. This hand is now in a defensive mode. Well, as in judo, you want control. As in jiu-jitsu, you want to have a submissive. You limit his arm here. You put this arm on defensive. That is the bottom line of a short strike fighting. Okay? So, the first thing, nobody is going to do your pan sao or your whatever techniques to this area and this area. You have to go in. So you'll be able to limit him, limit his arm, put his arm on defensive, and then at the same time you have this two arm to strike him because now you are in the attacking mode while he is limit in one hand, one arm, and then on the other arm is actually limited. Okay, or defensive. One arm limited, one arm defensive. That is the body strategy. Okay. Now let's talk about line. The line is never like in today's Wing Chun. He stood like this, you stood like that, you go into the center line. That is not what it is. So, again, like in my book, the Kung Fu 1560, this is the line, the opponent's line of attack. People always come into angle and get to the shoulder area. Okay? So, it is not like he have two hands, I have two hands, and I'm going like this, I have this technique. No. At the attack, I want him to attack me here. I want him to attack me here. While I'm getting in, I limit him here. I put this in the defensive mode. You see my leg is at attacking position. This hand be able to handle him and strike him, or if his hand is moving my hand up, he's of course he's going to struggle, he's going to grab me. This thing can strike him. Elbow can down and you can turn all the way down. Okay? So it is not a grabbing at Wing Chun 1850, but it's going to get here, limit one of the hand, make the other hand become a defense hand of the opponent. Then over here, you just strike him from different angle. But this angle is shooting into the elbow area like this. It's going, if this is the strike, is coming to this angle. It is not here. So if you come into this angle, meaning that this hand is limited because he's so close. I can struggle, but I'm limited. This hand becomes defensive because it's open for him. Never you want to go to the center line this way, like today's in the movie. Never you want to do that because at that meaning that who have better power, who have a stronger power. Not to mention when at this close, guess what people are going to do to you? At this close. Okay? That's why the design of the short strike is always one side. He change, you change, but you always take one side. And the line is from to here, to the elbow line, to the shoulder line. Okay? Now, how about if this is this hand, this is this hand. How about if I go in from here? It's the same thing, I get in from here. But this attack is to the center line. The center line. If I attack here from with the center line, not the elbow line. This is how the line play. It's not what today everybody thinking, oh, Wing Chun is going to punching the straight punch to the center line. Not that. Not in the battlefield. Not in in the uprising of the Red Boat Opera. Okay. So first, I said I have shared with you, not here, not here. You have to go inside here. It's called the body enter into the third gate. 三入三關. Okay. The second thing is you limit this hand of him. This you put him into a defensive mode. Let him struggle. He touch you, you smash him. And both arm is here working. Okay? From here, if you get in, then that is the center line because you lock up this hand already. You shoot the center line, you divert it from the other hand. You actually limited this hand and while you're trapping this hand. That is how a short strike Wing Chun has to play. So as in today, if you play Western boxing, they have their strategy, their design. If you play judo, you have the control design. If you play BJJ, you have the submissive design. It is never, I have these three hand techniques, and then I go for a center line. Those are not the 1850s short strike Wing Chun. The reason why short strike Wing Chun 1850 is called short strike is a soft art. Soft art is because it's always angling in. It never crush with you. But the angling in, it limit one side, it put the other hand on defensive mode. If you go from outside in, you divert that thing, you like disable that thing because you strike in the straight center line, okay, center line, and then here is you are disabling him. It is all strategy. There is no such thing as Chinese Kung Fu of I have used these three techniques can cover everything. I have this Fa Jing can cover everything. Reality is not that. And there are no such thing as this grandmaster, that grandmaster. If you don't know this, you get into like the war of the Qi Ji Guang or the 1850s, the uprising of the Wing Chun ancestor in the fine jade. You know, you're out. Or you just a warm body going out there marching straight and let people kill you. Okay? So I want to put this thing straight. If you don't have this type of kung fu, forget about it. You don't know the strategy. You don't know how to handle it. Like yesterday on that video, the other day on the video, when the opponent is taller than you, what are you going to do? When the opponent is shorter than you, what are you going to watch out? You want to teach self-defense to your daughter, to your sister? If they don't know that, always straight line and punching like that, what are you putting them into? And while in the same time, you look at our friend in BJJ, in Western boxing, in judo, in wrestling, all have this strategy and they know what is their sweet spot. Okay? So that is how you use the short strike art. Now, of course, you need to train that. However, there's another thing, is when you are here, your body need to be able to handle this thing, the torque over here, the body conditioning. So where do you train all this body conditioning for operate here or to operate here? While the judoka roll in the ground, the wrestler have their practice. Where is the Wing Chun 1850 practice this? Condition the body. Well, it turns out to be where? Xu Lin Tao form. For example, everybody knows the Sun Bai Fan. That is exactly what you are using here. This part. The body has to be torqued. He's going to struggle. This part. This part. This part is for for receiving him in. If you want to come in, you're receiving in. So as it said, it goes, you go with it. It come in, you come in. You stick at him. That is this part. And inside this, you hidden a short strike here. While you're doing this, and you can have the short strike like this. Say I'm receiving him. He struggled. There's a short strike there. It is within this. Now, if the Shulim Tao is not trained properly with the body and the three-dimensional and so forth, all this hip movement, I mean, come on, you don't have the ability to play here. Okay? So it is not as simple as in the movie or whatever story. Now, in here, I want to tell you one thing. As usually people told me, oh, Wing Chun is from Shaolin Wing Chun. Like the San Bai Fat is from the Wing Chun set San Bai Fat. Wrong. Sorry. Wrong. Wing Chun today, that San Bai Fat in the Xu Lin Tao set, is not a copy from the Shaolin Wing Chun San Bai Fat set. Okay? That Wing Chun San Bai Fat set and today's Wing Chun Xu Lin Tao San Bai Fat is somebody, when they designed this tree set and San Bai Fat set, they memorize, they heard about or they see something in the 1850 Wing Chun, the Xu Lin Tao, but they have no idea what it is. That's why today you see people doing, it doesn't matter it's Wing Chun or Wang Chun, it always lock this, pushing it out, and then you lock this palm, pushing it in. That's how people, it doesn't matter is today's Wing Chun, Xu Lin Tao set in any lineage or the Shaolin Wang Chun. The reality is cannot lock this thing. Your entire body, there's no immobile elbow or unmovable elbow either, because at this thing, if you look at my body, it is twisting, it's torquing. And at this thing, pulling it in or receiving, my body is torquing. And then at this thing, I shoot him with a short power. That is what it is. 1850s Wing Chun Xu Lin Tao have all this, and of course, it got to do with your breathing, your intra-abdominal pressure, and the entire torquing. It never is the today's Wing Chun's Xu Lin Tao practice this way, where your body is in a structure, you have an immobile elbow, and then you lock your wrist, and then you do this kind of stuff. It's not Shaolin Wang Chun stuff, which is doing the same thing with the body maybe bounce up and down. It is like a pattern in engineering. You can track that thing down to the details, and you know who copy who. And you also know, does the guy who copied that thing know what they are doing? So it is this clear. Today's Wing Chun Xiu Lim Tao, that Sam Bai Fat and the Sam Bai Fat, the part of the Sam Bai Fat sets, the part of the Sam Bai Fat in the Shaolin Wing Chun Sam Bai Fat set is all mimicking those part of 1850s Wing Chun Xiu Lim Tao sets. But they do not know the details. They don't have the breathing and all this jing practice. And thus, they don't know it go this close for the fighting. Now somebody will ask, so who did this? Well, we know today by evidence, Tai Fa Min Gam or San Gam is the person who responsible for the snake crane Wing Chun riding, the only riding after the 1870. And he also is related to the Shaolin Wing Chun. Often he said that Tai Fa Min Gam or San Gam is the student of Ji Sim. But those are the stories, and in the history we know, we can find this person, Tai Fa Min Gam, because the riding of snake crane is there. And we also know that they don't know this thing. We are people who practice the Xiu Lim Tao today, disregard lineage. You look at all the grandmaster, you can see. So it is this clear now today. And so, how to beat your opponent with the short strike? I have just shared with you. The strategy, the mechanic, the body conditioning. Without that, forget about it. It is not a short strike. So this is what I like to share with you, a straight talk. Now, with this video and the previous video of how to face a taller opponent or shorter opponent, I hope that you get a clear picture of what you get into. Unless you get all this, you want to walk out to the challenge of today's martial art, sorry, you far away from it. You far away from reality.